Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to pick number 14 of my favorite 31 rock and pop albums of the 70s countdown. We're doing it each and every day here in the month of August 2023. 31 days in a month. Our 31 favorite general rock pop albums, right? Not the hard rock and metal albums, not the southern rock albums, not the progressive rock albums, not the jazz albums, right? These are just the kind of general rock albums that just rock or pop, right? They're not too heavy, they're not proggy, they're not southern rock, right? All that sort of thing. So lots of great stuff to choose from. We are at number 14. We're more than halfway through the month as we march through to number 1. So today, this is the third studio album from this British-American band. The guy leading the band is a really famous rock star. Released December 5th, 1973. Recorded at EMI and ARC Studios in Nigeria. Kingsway Recorders in London, for Apple Records, produced by Sir Paul McCartney, Paul McCartney himself. I'm talking about, of course, Band on the Run by Wings. Paul McCartney and Wings. Notice how no mention of Wings at all on the album cover, right? Just Band on the Run. That's it. Yeah, I mean, I've said it many times here on the channel. I'm a big fan of this band, and when I was a kid, I listened to Wings way more than I listened to the Beatles. It's not until like more recent times, the last 20, 30 years, where, the quality of the Beatles music has just kind of overtaken me, right? I still love this band, but when I was a kid, man, I listened to these guys way more than the Beatles. And, it's funny looking back and going through a lot of the Wings catalog. You had some really strong to great albums, and some that were kind of really spotty, but every album for me was littered with great songs. You had some filler tracks and some great tracks, and for my money, the final album that they did, Back to the Egg, I think is absolutely terrific and one of their best as well. It's another one of those great last album a band ever puts out is a total corker of an album, right? So of course, on this particular record, you have the lineup of Mr. Paul McCartney. So right here, Wings still not a fully realized band like they would become shortly thereafter. But for the album, it's Paul McCartney on lead and backing vocals, bass, acoustic and electric guitar, piano, and keyboards. Linda McCartney, harmony, backing vocals, all sorts of keyboards, and Denny Lane, lead vocals, backing vocals, guitars, right? Percussion, and additional personnel on the album. Of course, the great Howie Casey on saxophone. Ginger Baker plays a little bit of drums on Picasso's Last Words. Remy Kobaka, a little percussion on Bluebird. Ian Horn, Trevor Jones, backing vocals. Tony Visconti does some orchestrations. The sound engineer, of course, on this album is Jeff Emmerich. So, yeah, I mean, again, they would go and add Jimmy McCullough and Joe English shortly thereafter, and they would, the full band would appear on, Venus and Mars and Speed of Sound and whatnot. And then by the time London Town comes around, it's back to these three again, right? So kind of an interesting little history of the lineups of this band from the beginning to end. So what do we have on this album? Well, you have some absolute drop-dead classics and then some really strong deep tracks on here. So of course, it starts off with Band on the Run and Jet. Are there two greater opening tracks to any album than that? I have, over the course of my life being into this band, I have always gone back and forth as to which of those two songs I like better, because I think Band on the Run is an amazing song, so legendary. It rocks, it's melodic, but Jet also rocks and is melodic, and there are times I think Jet is the more fun song, quirky lyrics on these, and I love Paul's vocals, and just great stuff. And then of course you got the wonderful Bluebird. Bluebird is just absolutely gorgeous. That chorus is so good, the vocal is just outstanding. You got Mrs. Vanderbilt, another great song. Let Me Roll It is terrific, good, gritty, bluesy rocker. Good lead guitar work on that song. And then over on the side too, you got the kind of charming and silly, but I like it, Mamunia. It's just so much fun. The quick and quirky No Words. Then of course Picasso's Last Words, Drink to Me. Such a cool song, right? It's very Beatles-ish. Picasso's Last Words is awesome. And then for me, the sleeper track on the album is the last track, 1985. Really like that a lot. It's kind of cool and futuristic. It's got great piano and it's fast and it's just I know just a manic vocal from Paul. Excellent song. Every time I listen to that track, I'm like, God, this is so good. How was nobody ever talking about this song back then, right? Kind of looking ahead to 1985, which kind of came and went, and So yeah, and then of course you've got if you get the various remasters and things, there's the session tracks. Hell and Wheels. Hell and Wheels is a good rompy rock tune like that, and you got Country Dreamer, which is the B-side to Hell and Wheels, also really cool. So yeah, I mean, this is just a really good, great album. Yeah, not really good, really great album. Venus and Mars is up there as well. I have often toyed with putting Venus and Mars over this because I think there's some tracks on Venus and Mars that I absolutely love, but I will say that I like the live versions of most of those songs on that album on the Wings Over America better than I do the studio versions. I think some of the studio tracks, especially the rockers, are a little tame on the studio album, and live they really take on a lot of force. So that's one of the but some of the songs on there are just absolutely incredible. But yeah, that's why I generally lean to this one just a little. And this one, like I said, this one has Band on the Run, Jet, Bluebird, 1985, Picasso, and Let Me Roll It, which to me are just absolutely incredible songs. And the other stuff is really good too. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to Band on the Run and Jet. Any album that's got those two songs on it's really, really kind of hard to look past it. But you got a rock show on Venus and Mars, right, which is terrific. So anyway, but yeah, I really adore the Wings catalog, and I think Speed of Sound is terrific too, even though it has a couple clunker tracks. And like I mentioned, London Town is good, and Back to the Egg, to round out the 70s, I think is absolutely terrific. And yeah, so anyway, there you have it. Let's take a look at some charting things. Australia, number 1. Belgium, number 4. Canada, number 1. Dutch charts, number 5. Japan, number 11. Norway, number 1. Spain, number 1. Sweden, number 5. UK, number 1. US Billboard, number 1. German charts, number 15. Pretty good right there, right? And as far as certifications go, France, gold, 100,000 units sold. UK, platinum, 300,000 units sold. UK, why is it listed twice? No, I don't know. Oh, the remastered edition. So this edition right here, this certified gold, 100,000 units sold in the UK when they released this. And in the States, this went triple platinum, 3 million copies sold. And let's see. Also, so let's go back to the remastered edition. So back when this was released in 2010, right? Is that this one that I have here? I don't think this is. I think mine is the 90s version. But anyway, when it was re-released in 2010, it crept back on the Belgian charts, number 89, Dutch charts 34, Japanese charts 25, Spain 47, UK 17, US 3. U.S. Pop Catalog Albums 3 and U.S. Billboard 229. And as far as singles go, let's see. Hell and Wheels was released October 1973. Jet, January 1974. And Band on the Run, 1974. So they actually put out Hell and Wheels before the album even came out. So, or actually not before. When did I say this album came out? Oh, December. Okay, yeah, so it came out just before the album was released. So Hell and Wheels, they released 73, then didn't include it on the album. And then Jet and Band on the Run both released as singles within a couple of months of the album coming out. So, yeah. And I didn't mention it, but Red Rose Speedway, the album that came before it, that's got some good tracks too. That's not too bad. It's a little raw, different lineup. Pretty good stuff, though. So, yeah, there you have it. Band on the Run by Wings. Let us know what you think of this album in the comments below, as well as your pick for today. Pick number 14. See you tomorrow morning for number 13. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube all together all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as it posts. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also down below, we got the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations as well as our merch page. So thanks in advance for all your support there. And we'll see you in just a little while. Of course, it's Friday. Martin Popoff is coming into the Funhouse in just a little bit. I will be expecting him shortly. So stay tuned for that. We've got a fun show today talking about when live albums aren't just live albums, right? So those live albums that have some quirks to them, right? Live albums that are half live, half studio tracks. Live albums that maybe have one or two brand new studio songs tacked onto the end to kind of help boost things a little bit. Live albums that have songs that you've never heard before, right? Live album of all new things, right? All sorts of configurations of live albums. When it's not just a live album, it becomes something more. So that's coming up in just a little bit, so stay tuned for that. We've also got, of course, 3 o'clock today, p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Ken Golden and myself will be talking about the professor's picks from Ken. So what's new coming out today in the world of prog and metal and fusion. Stay tuned for that this afternoon. And then, of course, over the weekend, we've got Ranking the Albums. Coming up on Sunday, Jamie Laszlo and myself will be ranking the catalog of Monster Magnet, the great psychedelic stoner rock and metal band, right? So that's coming up on Sunday. So till then, I am Pete Pardo. We'll see you all real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.